By the end of this video, you're gonna know how to collar someone. We'll talk more about kinky engagement. Stay until the end for the BDSM checklist and our webinar on kinky sex. I'm Amanda Pasciucco. I'm a sex therapist and I specialize in kinky relationships. So collaring someone in the DS community is the equivalent of dating them, or kind of the equivalent of an engagement or a commitment. Once the decision has been made by two people to engage in collaring, that's when the whole process can begin. It's really important to discuss this before just getting someone a collar, because they might not be interested in this type of symbolism. So the first thing we have to talk about is negotiation. When we negotiate, we want to talk about the type of collar that's of interest, when and where we will put it on, how do we know when to take it off, is it going to be something in public or just private, are we doing one collar or multiple, who's allowed to put the collar on, and who's allowed to take the collar off. There are submissives who do not take their collar off. So these are all things that we're going to discuss in a negotiation with someone. So things to consider: where, when, what type, who will put it on, what's our ritual for putting it on and taking it off, does the submissive kneel, do they stand away, what are the exact protocols that you two want to negotiate into your collaring. For those watching, what are your favorite times to use the collar? All right, let's get into the technicals. Measuring, ordering, and purchasing a collar. This often comes into play because we want to make sure it fits around the neck, that it's the right material, that you have a protocol for how you lock it and take it off. This process is just as important as the negotiation and considering to collar someone. The collar itself is symbolic of the relationship. Some people say that it casts the circle, which is a sacred type of symbol, such as a wedding band. The same thing with the collar, it's the same shape. The dominant is often responsible for taking care of these details, finding the person who will make the collar, making sure that they collaborate with that person so they feel part of the process. Are they going to put anything into the leather or put a metal tag on it to show who the submissive belongs to? The collar really doesn't need to be expensive. However, custom is seen as important. And I think that people get more collars along the way, but the first collar is often a really important symbol. It could be made of rope. It could be just a square knot type of rope necklace. It could be paracord. It doesn't have to be expensive in leather. However, the type of material you use is often symbolic of the type of relationship you have. If you like to play with impact and metals, you might have a metal collar, versus if you're into flogging, you might have a leather collar, etc. Just a really important note: do not give someone a collar that you have had on someone else. That collar was for someone else. Don't put that on somebody else. It's done. You could keep that for remembering the relationship. You could do something ritualistic like cut it or burn it. However, do not give it to someone else. So you ordered this new collar, it comes in, now what? You get to do a private collaring ceremony or a public one. A public one is more like a wedding. You'd have people there. Someone would, say, I now pronounce you dominant and submissive, master, slave, dame, sub, dame, pet. Not everyone does this. A lot of people do it privately, but a kinky engagement is definitely something that happens, and people have others come just as if it's a wedding. There is a type of talk usually that happens when the dominant puts the collar first on a submissive, something like, right now it's rigid, just like our newness, but as we grow together, this collar will also get molded, shaped, and grow with us. It's very symbolic. So this is called a collaring ceremony. It could be a large BDSM event or party in a dungeon. It could be private in someone's home. Either way, the significance is of the intentionality of the moment. The moment that the dominant first gives the collar or puts the collar around the neck of the submissive. The intention is two people have negotiated and expressed that they would like this type of power relationship in front of themselves or in front of others. This is an engagement, a commitment, a ceremony of growing together. There are going to be predetermined boundaries for the dominant, who's the guide, and the submissive, who's the guided, and that's all been discussed and negotiated beforehand by them. And this ceremony would be something where others see and say that they'll support them in this special type of bond. Not everyone will support this type of relationship, so when you have people who will, it's important to have them around you for support. So that's our video on kinky engagements. If you have any questions, let us know below. Thank you for staying until the end. Scroll down, click the link for the BDSM checklist, and you can see the Kinky Sex 1.0 and 2.0 videos. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and the bell. If you have ideas about videos, I like to hear your ideas and know where you're from. So write them below, and I will definitely take them into consideration. If you want to say hi, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, at The Sex Healer, or at Amanda Pasciucco. Talk to you soon.